Pant shitters of Reddit, what's the story? I blame the boat. There have been a few times in my life when, for some reason, I've been struck by a bizarre fixation on aquatic vehicles. Sometimes, this obsession is centered on an appreciation of the design aesthetics. Other times, it's a symbol for a sense of peaceful escape or romantic adventure. Hell, there was even a time when the thought of a fat detective yelling boat and then flinging himself into a brick wall threw me into paroxysms of laughter. Anyway, I was at Disneyland with my family, and suffice to say, my wits weren't entirely at their peak. We'd been wandering around the park all day, and as the sun was starting to set, our explorations brought us to a little pond-like place on which several remote-controlled boats were drifting. We soon discovered that the boats could be piloted for a small price, of course, by anyone who wished to try their hand at captaincy. I was struck by one of my moments of boat-based infatuation, and I was compelled to find a control station, pay the fee, and begin my nautical excursion. It was then that disaster struck. First of all, I couldn't figure out which of the many boats was mine. Fiddling with my controls failed to provide any helpful information, and I eventually grew frustrated with the endeavor. I yelled for my father, which turned out to be unnecessary since he was directly behind me, and asked if he had any insight into the situation. "Well, have you tried?" my father began. Then his nose wrinkled and an expression of distaste crossed his face. "What's that smell?" I made a point of loudly sniffing. "I don't smell anything," I declared. "About my boat, though." "Make it work." "Max, do you need to go to the bathroom?" Suddenly, I became aware of a hot, sticky sensation in the seat of my pants. And as I did, the smell finally hit me. To this day, I can remember the foul, sour stench, and the way that I could almost picture the viscous brown sludge that was no doubt filling my underwear. I began, still half focused on the boats. "I need to go to the bathroom." My father guided me to the nearest facility, and together we appraised the situation. Sure enough, a thick patina of poop had been plastered across my posterior, and my underwear had been dyed a revolting shade of burnt umber. With a sigh, my father busied himself with cleaning me up, but it was a lost cause. We were forced to make our way back to our hotel room, and my request to ride on my father's shoulders was flatly denied, which I felt was unfair. During the walk, I was told that I needed to practice more active awareness, and interrogated about how I could have possibly missed the fact that I'd been about to soil my underwear. Like I said, I blamed the boat. TLDR. The motion of the ocean causes a foul explosion. Here's a shout-out to /r/drunk or a kid.